Staying in Cross River State, the state's government has commenced a comprehensive sensitization exercise across schools in the states to create awareness and ensure smooth implementation of its newly introduced education reforms. The sensitization campaign, led by officials from the Ministry of Education, aims to enlighten school administrators, teachers, and students on the objectives and benefits of the reforms, which are designed to improve the quality of teaching and learning in the state. Speaking during the flag-off of the program in Ogoja, the Commissioner for Education, Stephen Ode, stated that the reforms reflect Governor Otu's commitment to repositioning the education sector in line with global standards. For more on the state's education reforms, the Commissioner for Education, Mr. Stephen Ode, joins us from Calabar, the state's capital. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, sir. Now, we're just going to go right into it. Now, what are the key policy reforms recently introduced by the Cross River State government in the education sector, and how do they align with the state's broader development goals in the short and long term?
Well, thank you very much. Education sector is given priority in Cross River State by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Cross River State, Senator Bassey Tutu, because we believe that education is the in and out of every development in this state. And therefore, we decided to come up with a lot of reforms to address some of the challenges we looked. One of them is a multiplicity of resumption or graduation ceremonies in our various schools. You agree with me that it has become a tradition that most schools will celebrate graduation from kindergarten 1 to 2 to 3, and so on. We said no, graduation shouldn't be on a termly basis or yearly basis. There are certificate classes that when a student like primary 6, junior secondary school exams, and then SS3, at that point you can celebrate. But a situation where students are compelled to pay graduation fee moving from one class to the other, we say no, that is a distraction. So we've decided to stop that so that the system can flow without distraction. Secondly, we came about the issue of organizing compulsory lessons for all students after 2 p.m. We say, look, there is a level student can stay in class, and you don't give them unnecessary mental fatigue. So we decided that, look, from 2 o'clock to 1 for juniors, for primary school, and then 8 o'clock to 2 p.m. is good for senior secondary school students. So at that point, when you teach a student, they will be able to assimilate. But anything beyond 2 o'clock, that means they will have mental fatigue. So we said, no, right now, you must end all lectures from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let the children get home and rest, relax, and take their siesta and prepare for their assignment and all that. So that is also a new policy. 2 p.m., all schools in Cross River State shut down. But if you want to insist on lesson, that is at the discretion of the parents. And then secondly, adherence to the approved textbooks that is approved by the Ministry of Education. We have also discovered that most publishers will just drive into our school premises, negotiate with principals and head teachers of school, and introduce textbooks that are not recommended by the ministry. So, and at the same time, they are introducing workbook inside those textbooks. We said no. These are situations that we said we can no longer keep that. When textbooks are sold to students, when a child graduates from that class, the younger ones coming after that child should be able to make use of those textbooks. But the situation where you begin to introduce new textbook monthly or even termly or yearly, that situation is already, we have cancelled it in Cross River State.
Okay.
So you must adhere to the textbooks that are approved by the ministry. That is exactly what we are doing. And we also introduce anti-bullying committees or clubs in our schools. You know that students and pupils have become so used to taking these drugs. And then we say, look, let us select the young ones and begin to preach this gospel that, look, the value system must be upheld. And that is exactly why we also introduce anti-bullying and anti-drugs club in our schools. It is now compulsory in all our schools. So
Okay.
this is the way to go.
That's,
and that's what Cross River State is doing right.
those are very, very fantastic steps to help the education sector. Now, moving forward, many stakeholders often raise concerns about infrastructure, funding, and teacher welfare. How is the ministry addressing these challenges while meeting the evolving demands of students, teachers, and parents?
Yes, of course. We in Cross River State, we must say, especially thank His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State, Senator Bassey Edeti too, who has so much passion and commitment towards the development of education in Cross River State. For us, when we talk about accessibility to funds, we are highly funded. For instance, the Universal Basic Education Commission, in collaboration with the State Universal Basic Education in the state, we are far ahead of some states. We've been able to meet up with our counterpart funding. We have access fund with the Universal Basic Education Commission in Abuja. And that has brought about massive infrastructural development in the state. And of course, it's not just about infrastructural development that we are focusing. We're also focusing on the training and retraining of the teachers in the state. This is the only state that we have an institution, Teachers Continuous Training Institute, established principally to train teachers. We know very, very well that the best way to ensure that we have quality education in our state is to ensure that our teachers are properly trained. That's exactly what we are doing. We are also collaborating with the World Bank in terms of education, which the governor has made some funds available for. So very soon again, we embark on massive training of our teachers. So for infrastructural development, I think Cross River State, we are far ahead.
Wonderful. Now, looking ahead, what are the long-term plans of the ministry to sustain these reforms and ensure that Cross River State remains a model for educational excellence in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Most times people get worried that when you come up with good policies, implementation becomes a problem. For us, and of course, myself, who is responsible for looking at what happens in the entire education sector in the state. Today, as I speak to you, I just inaugurated task force on implementation of these policies. For the first time, all the local government areas have committee members that will go around. You know, we have to carry stakeholders along. This is not only the responsibility of government to drive the process. So we decided to engage stakeholders like the National Parents Teachers Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, and of course our own staff from the ministry, local government education authorities, and zonal coordinators, so that at the end of the day, these policies that we fashion out, to ensure that all stakeholders comply. Within the local government, we have committees that will go around and see and let us know those who are not in compliance will be properly sanctioned. So for us, implementation, we are all set for it.
Okay, thank you very much. We've been speaking with the Commissioner for Education in Cross River State. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me too.
You're watching